We're going to take a look at a problem from a 5th grade math book from Singapore, and we are going to solve this problem in two different ways. The first way is the traditional way, the way most of us were taught in US schools, and we are going to call it the US method. Then we're going to look at the way it's presented in the Singapore book. So we're going to compare the two solutions. That's the goal. Let's read the question. Jeremy bought 8 identical pens and 5 identical notebooks. The cost of 8 pens is same as the cost of 5 notebooks. Each notebook costs 30 cents more than each pen. How much did Jeremy spend altogether? So let's take a look at a US solution. We're going to call it the US method. We're going to use algebra. And basically, when we are using equations, it's a good idea to define our variable. And we're going to say the cost of each pen is X cents. Since the cost of each notebook is 30 cents more, the cost of each notebook has to be X plus 30. And we know the cost of 8 pens is same as the cost of 5 notebooks. Note here, 8x is the cost of 8 pens, and 5 times x plus 30 is the cost of 5 notebooks. They must be equal because that's what the question says. All we need to do now is solve this equation, which doesn't look terribly bad. It's a pretty simple equation, this equation. So what we did here is 8x is 8x. On the right hand side, I distributed 5 over x plus 30, and I got 5x plus 150. I moved the variables on the same side. I have 8x minus 5x here is equal to 150. 8x minus 5x is 3x. 3x is equal to 150. Divide both sides by 3, and x turns out to be 50 cents. Now, I am supposed to find the total amount of money Jeremy spent. So let's find out how much he spent on 8 pens. The cost of 8 pens is 8x, and x is 50. So we replace x with 50, and we get 8 times 50, or 400 cents. We know the cost of 5 notebooks should also be 400 cents. So the total cost has to be 400 plus 400, or 800 cents. So that's the answer, $8 or 800 cents. Alright, let's erase all the highlights and look at the next method, and we're going to call it the Singapore method. It's visual, it's not algebraic, and we're going to see if we can make sense of this method. So I have 8 purple rectangles. They represent the price of 8 pens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the bottom part represents the price of 5 notebooks. Now note that each notebook costs 30 cents more than a pen. So I bought 5 notebooks, so each notebook is worth the price of a pen plus 30 cents. Another notebook is worth the price of a pen plus 30 cents. Now if you collect all the 30 cents and put them here, you'll get 150 cents. Now according to the question, the cost of 5 notebooks, excuse me, let's erase these highlights. According to the question, the cost of 5 notebooks is same as the cost of 8 pens. Now you really have to understand that. It's a little tricky, but since each notebook is 30 cents more and Jeremy bought 5 notebooks, the total cost of 5 notebooks is same as the cost of 5 pens plus 150 cents. That's all this picture is trying to tell us. And once we get that, we can use this part. Excuse me, let's erase that. Okay, we can get this, look at this part to decide what each pink rectangle is worth. If 3 pink rectangles add up to 150 cents, each should be worth 50 cents. And that's all I need to know. I'm all set. Now, so if each pink rectangle is worth 50 cents, I have 8 pink rectangles. These rectangles represent the cost of 8 pens. That has to be 8 times 50, or 400 cents. And of course, the cost of 5 notebooks must be 400 cents. Now if you go back and put 50 cents here for the 5 rectangles, you're going to get 150 cents, 250 cents, sorry. Let's ignore that. I'm going to erase that. This is according to what we had. This is 50 cents. And that times 5 is 250. 250 plus 150 is 400. So it makes sense. It's correct. The total cost is 400 plus 400, or 80 cents, or $8, just like we did before. Now, note, when you're using visual techniques, students are actually solving algebraic problems visually with understanding, with good, solid conceptual understanding of what's going on. They're not using memorized steps. They're not using some magic trick or using a method that they quite don't understand. They figure things out. So the Singapore method is, in a way, fairly different from the US method, because in the in US, these problems are generally used in grade 8, grade 9 texts, but in Singapore, 5th grade kids are doing some of these things without using the concept of algebra or the notion of variables.